So looking back on everything that I knit this year, I definitely had like more of a simple year as far as patterns go. I did a lot of stockinette knitting. I knit a lot of socks. It was a big transitional year for us. We moved this year and I got a new job. Life has been very much in flux for the last couple of years. And there's part of me that's like, oh, I wish I like knit more garments and I wish that I did more. But it's such a funny hobby because it is like, oh, I'm making a thing for a purpose, but there's also this huge part of it that's like, I like doing this activity and it feels good to just sit and do this physical task. So yeah, I don't know. Do I wish that I knit more sweaters this year? For sure, because I always am like, there's so many things to knit that you're like, I wish I could just knit them all. But that said, knitting was such a comfort to me this year and always is. And I'm really glad that I sort of like followed what I needed as far as like self-care and like doing this as something that is just for me and brings me joy in that way. It wasn't really intentional that 2025 was going to be a whole year of doing stuff that felt pretty slow, but it's what I needed. And now going into 2026, I just feel like more creatively energized and ready to like, yeah, just take on stuff that might be a little bit more complicated. But that said, I also am always just wanting to make things that I'm gonna like to wear. I'm always making things because I think they're gonna enhance my wardrobe. And yeah, that's just really how I'm always looking at it, which I think works really well for me. I had a lot of fun going through everything I knit. I hope it's fun for you too. I love watching these videos because it's just so fun to get pattern inspiration. And also like, I don't know, it's just so sweet. Everyone's making all this stuff and feeling proud about it, and it's so nice. It feels so good. So I hope this is nice for you to watch. It was fun for me to make. Enjoy. Not the fuzz already. We just started. Okay, so the first thing I knit are these mittens. They are called the world's simplest mittens. They're by Tin Can Knits. And I made them because I needed some mittens. And they are made with Lion Brand fisherman's wool. When I think of Lion Brand, wool is not usually what comes to mind. I think they're like a big box brand. They do a lot of acrylic. But I heard about this base and was like, really cheap wool? That sounds great. Let me try it. So it comes in these fat skeins. Like, it's gotta be like 500 grams. I don't know. I might be wrong, but like big skein of yarn. And so I think I'm gonna be able to get a lot of little projects out of it. Yeah, they're mittens. They're simple. The simplest in the world, some have said. And they were such an easy knit. I did them on double pointed needles. I think this is a worsted weight yarn. Who knows what needle size I knit them on, but they were super chill and really fast. The yarn, I will say, I was excited to try. I wish it was a little softer. I am someone who has a pretty high tolerance for woolly wool. Like, itchy doesn't always get to me so much, but these are definitely like, they're not that soft. This yarn is just not super soft. I don't know. I'd like to think that the more these get worn, the softer they will get, but I've worn them a lot. I mean, they're mittens. I put them on my hands just about every day of the winter. So I don't know, maybe not for next to skin as far as a sweater goes, but they don't bother me as a mitten. So yeah, just not my favorite wool, but definitely budget friendly and pretty nice for what you're paying for it. And yeah, stitch definition, really nice. Yeah, I don't have a lot of complaints. I just wasn't like wowed. Tin Can Knits does a lot of really great sort of like intro basic vanilla patterns for things. I know they have socks and I'm sure sweaters too, so definitely check them out if you're looking for like, you know, your basics. I would knit these again for sure, and they'd be such a good gift knit. Yeah, not a ton to say about them. They're the world's simplest mittens. The next thing that I knit was the Fireside beanie by Jack Slack. I don't have it in my hand because while I did knit this beanie for myself, my partner has pretty much commandeered the beanie, and I'm like, I kind of love that he has because it looks so cute on him. And it's just like nice to see your partner in something that you knit. I don't know, it makes me feel good. I don't knit for him a ton. Actually, I take that back, I've never knit for him ever. So, yeah, it's really nice that he wears this hat. It makes me really happy. This came out, I think, last year, if not at the end of 2024. It was a set with a pair of fingerless mitts that Jack designed. It's a 2x2 ribbed beanie with some really nice shaping that fits into the ribbing. I knit this hat in, God, here we go with my remembering the sad things that happened in 2025. I knit this hat in Loft by Brooklyn Tweed. And as we know, 2025 was the year that Brooklyn Tweed decided they were no longer gonna be making yarn. I am like so deeply sad about this still. I'm never gonna get over it. Loft and Shelter are some of my favorite bases. Loft is so soft and so woolly. That's my favorite combination. It's a woolen spun yarn with a ton of loft, and it's just super nice. This vest I'm wearing right now, which I will put the name of on the screen because I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but this is knit in Shelter, and I don't know if I've talked about it on the channel before or not, but it's a very lovely base that's like drapey but still woolly. I could go on, and how many times will she say woolly in this episode? Who knows, but I just love that base, and I love that color. That colorway is called Cadet. If you can get your hands on some Brooklyn Tweed Shelter or Loft in Cadet, good for you, because it's so freaking nice. It's so bright, it's so pretty, and yeah, I wish that I had more of it. Yeah, just forever sad that Brooklyn Tweed isn't making yarn anymore. I'm not gonna stop talking about it. I love them, I miss them. They're still making patterns. Jared Flood is still being a creative genius, but I'm sad about the yarn. It's okay, it's fine. The pattern Jack has made is lovely. Loft is a fingering weight yarn. I did the fingering weight version. I believe there's also a worsted weight option in the pattern. The cool thing that I did for this, this was the year of combination knitting for me. And this is the project that really got me to be like, you know what? Every time you do any kind of ribbing, you're gonna be doing combination knitting. What is combination knitting? So any time you switch from knitting to purling, that knit stitch that's right before the purl can sometimes get stretched out. The leg of the knit that is next to the purl will get stretched out. And I learned about this from Patty Lyon. I have her knitting tips and tricks book, chock full of tips and tricks that are super helpful, and just like anytime you're like, why does my knitting look a little bit wonky? Why isn't it looking perfect? She knows why. She will tell you why, explain to you why, and give you a fix. When it comes to this knit purl issue of the loose knit, it's because of the way that the yarn is traveling from a knit to a purl. It stretches out the knit. The way that you fix it is by wrapping the yarn for your purl the opposite direction you normally would, just for that one that's right after the knit. And then when you come back to that stitch, it will be twisted, and you just knit or purl into the back of it depending on what your pattern calls for. Does that make any sense at all to anyone? I'm not Patty Lyon. You should take a class with her if you can, or you should buy her knitting tips and tricks book. The point is that my ribbing looks so much neater now. It's just like, and I will never not do that. I will never not twist that purl stitch ever again. Is it a little bit of a pain in the butt? Yeah, but it's so freaking worth it. No more gap between the two. No more pull on that leg of the knit stitch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, sorry you listened to me ramble about it for so long just now. But if you do know what I'm talking about, this is your solution. You're going to love the way your ribbing looks because of this. I'm gonna move on now. But just Patty Lyon, she's a genius. She'll make your knitting better. Look at me. I'm gonna even get the book out because it's right here. And because I think I was calling the book by the wrong title. not called Knitting Tips and Tricks. It's called Knitting Bag of Tricks. Okay, back to the theme of the video. So next thing I knit this year, it was my first sweater of the year, and it is called Piilo, not quite sure how to pronounce it, but it is designed by Jonna Helin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right either, but she runs Lina magazine and she designs lots of gorgeous sweaters, and this is her Piilo sweater. Oh man, I was so excited when I landed on knitting this. I knit pretty much exclusively with stash yarn this year, which was really awesome. I'm like really proud of myself for that, but also it's, you know, it can be a bit of a struggle because you might have an idea in your head that your stash doesn't match, but then this was an example of the stash really working out in my favor. This yarn, the cream is Primrose Forage, which is a DK weight yarn that Primrose Yarn made in collaboration with Brooklyn Tweed, but it was a limited edition base, and I discovered it at Rhinebeck and immediately fell in love with it. This cream color is called Fresh Linens, and then the brown is actually a different base. Sawkill Farms 3-ply worsted in their undyed dark brown. And yeah, I just love this sweater. I just had a really good time knitting it. It was mindless. It was engaging enough, because when you're doing stripes, you're like, oh, just let me do one more stripe, and that keeps you like invested. Yeah, I really love the shape of it. I love that it's just sort of a box. When I was swatching for it, I think I was a little nervous about my gauge, worrying that I would be a little oversized, but it turned out to fit exactly the way I was hoping it would. I love the chimney neck. It is a rolled, a folded neck that I believe I just seamed. Yeah, it's just a great basic, and I would knit it again for sure. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about it besides I love it. So, next up is my first pair of socks of the year. This was a big year for socks for me, and these first pair, really cute. I really love these. If you're familiar, there's a designer named Summer Lee. She's also on YouTube. She started a colorwork cuff club pattern release, and I guess that was in 2024, but basically when you buy the pattern, you get a base pattern for just like a basic sock, and then every month she gives you a new colorwork chart. I don't know if she's doing it again this year. That would be her 3rd year, if so. This is the August chart. These are knit in King Fiber Super Soft Sock. This colorway is called Bedrock Honeycomb. That's the orange, the like rust. I don't know what this sock yarn is that I used for the flowers. I can tell you one thing though, it used to be a little bit more pink. It is not so pink anymore, and that's because this yarn just won't stop bleeding. I've washed these quite a few times now. I mean, I've been wearing them all year, and they just keep bleeding. So it hasn't been too bad of a bleed into the color work, but they were definitely not as golden as they're looking now, but it's also not that noticeable. The only thing that I wish I had done differently with these is this cuff. Why did I make this cuff so tall? This is not what she tells you to do in the pattern. She definitely has you do like a little baby cuff so that the color work starts right away. And I was like, no, I like a big cuff. And that's true in a vanilla sock or like a ribbed sock, but I would have done it shorter, and I would knit these again. So maybe I will do it shorter if that ever happens. But yeah, I've worn them a ton. We'll see how this super soft sock holds up. It's been quite pilly, a lot pillier than some of my other socks. But so far, no holes, and I do wear them. So the next thing that I knit was the I'm Obsessed jumper by Brenda Lamb. Brenda is the designer who got me back into knitting a few years ago. She does a lot of big chunky knits. Yeah, I knit this sweater for my friend, and she has it, and guess who took no pictures of it? It's me. I didn't take any pictures of this sweater. So here is a picture of Brenda's design. I knit mine in Al Pacino Merino by Wool and the Gang in their colorway Space Black. Came out cute. It's a little croppy black sweater, and I think my friend loves to wear it. It was fun for me because I don't knit with chunky yarn a ton for myself. She picked this pattern out, and I was like, hell yeah, I would love to knit a bulky weight sweater. Because it's just, they go so fast and it's so fun. So yeah, that was a chill, fun knit. The next thing I knit this year was a lingering whip. This outline tee by JessieMaed Designs took me a year to knit. This is how it goes with me and the warm weather knitwear, the knitted tops. I just am bad at finishing them. I don't know. We're gonna see this year if I go for knitting summer stuff again. I always think, oh, I'm not going to. That's like a whole season, or I could be knitting another sweater. But then it's just so tempting because you want to knit something that you can wear when it's done. And yeah, I have a lingering whip from this past year, but we'll get into that in another video. This is the outline tee by JessieMaed Designs. It's a great pattern. It's so cute. The drop stitch is so fun to pick out when it's time. And this yarn is called Sonata. It's by Noro. If you know, you know. It's a really nice blend of cotton, viscose, silk, and polyamide. I mean, it's just, you'll see the drape. You see how nice it is. It's a really beautiful yarn. There's some really fun colors. Yeah, there is nothing bad to say about this top other than I just don't wear it that much. And that's on me. I knit this because when I was working at a local yarn shop here called Knit One, I live in Chicago. I used to manage Knit One. And when I was working there, we had a sample of this top that I would steal and wear in the shop all the time. And I was like, I gotta knit one of these. And I finally did. And I don't wear it that much in real life. Maybe that will change this year. We'll see. But either way, it was really fun to knit. This yarn is really lovely to work with. It is just a single ply, and yeah, it's a little bit thick and thin sometimes, which I love to knit. Like I said, only good things to say about it. It's me. Why don't I wear it? I don't know, but here it is. Next is another pair of socks. I knit 5 pairs of socks this year. I am very proud to say. And yeah, this was a pair that I knit in the spring. They are a 3x1 rib that I sort of self-drafted. I probably used the heel from Summerlee's basic sock that I got with the Cuff Club. I am a heel flapping gusset girly. I understand that it's like a little bit more annoying to knit, I guess. I know that like you have to knit flat for a little minute and that's annoying, but God, it fits great. And so I always do it when I can because I like how it fits so much. I went ahead and did the ribbing all the way around in the foot. Sorry, these are looking a little raggedy also. I wear them a lot. I wear my socks a lot. I love my knit socks. Yeah, and I was a little nervous that the ribbing all the way around the foot would be like sort of maybe a sensory issue, but they've been super comfy. This yarn is hand-dyed yarn by Northwoods Fibers, and this base is called Butternut Sock. Couldn't tell you what the colorway is, I'm sorry to say. 3x1 was a pretty comfy rib to knit at because it's mostly knitting with just a purl tossed in every 4 stitches. And I did combination knitting again, and look how nice the ribbing is, if I do say so myself. Yeah, some 3x1 socks. So next up, we've got another sweater. This is the back yoke sweater. It's by Horiko Ichikawa. So this is knit in a base from Harrisville Designs called Sheer. This is in the colorway Fawn Brown. Oh my gosh, was this a delight to knit with. This is such a soft and lofty wool. I don't know if you can tell from looking at it here, but yeah, this is just like my ideal way for a yarn to feel. I believe this is a DK weight. I know I knit the body on an 8 and I knit the ribbing on a size 4. So it's really versatile as far as needle size and gauge goes. I could go on and on about the yarn, but I'd probably just be repeating myself because the main takeaway is that I love it so much. And it's also great because this is an undyed base. This is just like the color of the sheep's wool. And I love neutrals. I love them so much. And yeah, this one's super cool. So back yoke, this is why it's called the back yoke sweater. The back panel connects to the sleeves, but then also you like knit down from the back panel. This was a lot of like modular knitting where you're like, okay, do this chunk and then pick up from another side of it and go in a different direction. So yeah, even though it's a very basic stockinette sweater, it was really engaging to knit, and I did it, I think, in less than a month. Yeah, really addicted to it. Again, I know it's simple, but it was really doing it for me. I would absolutely knit it again. There is an option in the pattern to do a folded collar, or this sort of turtlenecky kind of choice. Obviously that's what I went for, but I debated on it for a really long time before I decided. And I'm really, really happy with the choice I made. There is something about this sweater that feels slightly less like sweatshirty than some other sweaters that I have. Like the Stripey Piilo, it is definitely a more like casual looking fit. And this is just as boxy. The sleeves are just as big. But I don't know, there's something about the shape of it just feels more elevated to me. So I grabbed for this one a lot. And yeah, I would definitely knit it again. Wouldn't be surprised if I do. Next is another whip that I finished. It's another summer top that took me a year to knit, and you're gonna laugh because it's just a little tank top. This is the Helianthus. It is by Andrea Gaughan. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, Andrea, but this is a lovely pattern. This is a really, really lovely pattern. I love the fit of this tank top. It's unfortunate that I didn't love knitting it. And I think it's because I just love to knit with wool. This is made out of Knitting for All of cotton merino, a lovely base. I mean, look how pretty it is and look how nice the drape is. It's very flowy, very comfortable to wear in all kinds of weather. It was just not my favorite to knit. It's a little bit splitty, which is fine. It's really not the yarn's fault. It's just a preference. I just don't love to knit with cotton, and I thought that it being a cotton merino blend would help, and it kind of did, but it just wasn't my favorite to knit. I love plain stockinette knitting. I'm never mad at like a chill basic pattern. So it's not that, it was me not wanting to knit with cotton. And this is why it's like, girl, maybe you just aren't like a summer top knitter. But every year I get tempted. So I don't know. I'm sure I'll do more this year, and then I'll be singing the same tune next year. But yeah, it's a great top though, I will say. I did wear it a decent amount in the summer. I don't know if you can see it, but I have one little stitch that got slipped right here instead of knit, and so it's longer than all of its neighbors, and I'm sure no one else notices it when they see me wearing it, but I see it every time. I do love the how high the neck is. I feel like so many summer tops are like V-neck, scoop neck. That's really cute for lots of people. It's just not my preference. So I love how high of a neck this has. Yeah, and it fits great. So yay to this. I hope I wear it more this year. And yeah, no shade to Knitting for Olive. They make beautiful yarn, beautiful colors. I just love wool. Okay, next pattern is the Calendula baby hat. I made 3 of these to give away to friends who had babies this year, and the hats are so freaking cute. I made 2 in Brooklyn Tweed Imbue Sport. Don't even get me started about Imbue. It's another beautiful base of Brooklyn Tweeds that came out in the last few years, so it didn't even have that long of a shelf life. But man, is it a gorgeous base. I believe it's merino, maybe a blend. It is so soft and still so bouncy. I love when a yarn is woolly and soft. Imbue is like this, but even softer than normal. So that's the green ones. That colorway is called Hummingbird. And then I did also make a yellow one in Kelbourne Woolens Camper. And that colorway is called Sunflower Heather. These were really fun to knit. They were very chill, very quick, obviously, because they're little hats for little babies. There's a lot of short rows involved, which are fun. And then you get to do the little I-cord tie. And yeah, I just love this little pixie shape for a baby. Why not turn a baby into a pixie? That's basically what they are anyway. We'll definitely be revisiting this for more baby knits. I was able to crank them out and that felt really good. Next up is another pair of socks. You may be familiar with these. I feel like they're pretty popular on Ravelry. They're called the Hermione socks. It's a free pattern on Ravelry by Erica Lueder, not sure how to pronounce it, but not a lot to say about these other than they're super cute. This is Magpie Fibers Swanky Sock, which is a base that has a little bit of cashmere in it. They are a little bit swanky, I have to say. And yeah, these have been worn recently and not washed recently. So they're looking a little stretched out, but like I said, I wear my socks all the time. I love my socks. This year, I feel like I fell in love with sock knitting even more than years previous. So yeah, these were, maybe not my favorite to knit just because of the stitch pattern. It's like a knit purl, a staggered purl situation. It's a free pattern. Go check it out if you're super curious. It is really pretty, but, you know, there's a lot of pearls thrown in there. Not my favorite pair of socks of the year, but I do love them. This was sock number 3 of the year. Next is the Turtle Dove Shawl by Sari Nordland. This was a gift knit this year. I didn't do a ton of gift knitting, but this was one of them. This is a precious little shawlette pattern, little sort of neckerchief pattern that took me a very long time to knit because you really have to get in there with the chart. It was not a chart that I ever memorized, that I ever was able to do without looking at it. So my friend, this was a birthday gift for my friend. Her birthday is in May. I believe I finished this in November. I knit this in Kelbourne Woolens Andorra in the colorway Avocado, and then I also held some mohair with it. The mohair is by Earth. It's called Bon Mohair, Earth being U-R-T-H, and the colorway for that is Tempest. This combination of yarns was really nice, really soft, really drapey. I was a little nervous about doing, not nervous, but I was just like, oh, I hope that there's still a lot of stitch definition for all of these cables, even while holding a fuzzy yarn with this already slightly fuzzy yarn, and it looks great. I think the halo is actually super nice and it feels really good. As I was knitting it, it was just one of those that you're like, man, this feels good, it looks good. I think it's a nice size. I'm definitely a person who likes a bandana, so that felt like a good size for me. It didn't feel like too short or too shallow in the triangle. Yeah, like I said, it was just one of those that you really have to be involved with. It was probably the most complicated thing I knit this year, for sure, because I did a lot of stockinette this year. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And once I was in those pockets of time where I was really in a groove with it, it was really lovely to work on. I knit on it a lot in the summer, weirdly. Mohair in the summer. It was good. And she loves it, which makes me happy. Next up is another pair of socks. These are another self-drafted pair of stripey socks. I knit these with more of the King Fiber Rust colorway, and then this blue is, I believe, a Knit One yarn from back in the day when Knit One used to have its own line of yarn. This is like years and years ago. This is just some like leftover that I inherited. I don't know the colorway, but yeah, it's like a pretty typical sock base. I kind of fussed around a little bit with how big I wanted the stripes to be. I knew I wanted kind of skinny stripes, and I ended up going with 2 rows for each stripe, and I think they came out really cute and good. I again wear these a ton. These are some of my favorite socks I knit this year. I really like how they turned out, and I also really love this little cuff with the tiny stripe in it. That makes me happy. Socks were really a highlight for me this year, and I like these a lot. Last knit of 2025. This was sort of a Christmassy knit for me. I cast on like right before leaving to go visit family for the holidays, and I worked on these like pretty religiously the whole time we were gone. We were gone for a week, and I knit a lot. These are the Sunflower Power socks by Stone Knit, and I love them. I love them so freaking much. I am so happy with how these turned out. The yarn that I used for these is Issayur yarn for the green. That's number 37. And then the purple is Leading Men Fibers. This is a base called Showstopper Intermission. The colorway is called Purple Rain. So I had both of these in my stash. I was hoping I would have enough of the green to do, the original plan was just to do both of them like this. But then I was weighing my yarn and realizing that that was not gonna happen. And then I was like, well, I could just invert it. And I'm so glad that I was forced to do that because they're so cute. I love them. I love them. I love wearing them with my clogs. They've only been done like, I think actually technically I finished these after the new year. Don't tell anyone. And I've already worn them so much. This Issayur yarn is, I believe, has some alpaca in it. It's quite fuzzy. It's gonna be interesting to see how these wear. I knit a pair of Charlotte Stone's Rad Radish socks. No, I mean, I did knit those, but it was actually her Magic Toadstool socks for my sister using this green yarn. And she had them, the socks, with her over the holidays, and I was like, whoa, these have kind of felted. So I'm curious to see how these are gonna wear. I knit them to fit my foot. I didn't accommodate for any felting, but I'm hoping that it will be okay. I'm hoping they're just gonna fit me perfectly for forever and never get any holes, and I'll be wearing them when I am on my deathbed. Charlotte Stone, if you're not familiar with Stone Knits, run, don't walk. She's on YouTube also, and makes a lot of really sweet short videos about her socks. And she's just so delightful. I love to hear her talk about what she's knitting. And I love her patterns. Excited to do more colorwork socks in 2026. So that's these. So that's everything I knit in 2025. Thanks so much for watching this. It feels really good to be back in front of my iPhone talking about what I knit. I don't work at a yarn store anymore, so I don't get to chat about this kind of stuff so much anymore. So it's nice to do it here on YouTube. Leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would love all those things. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.